Hi, and welcome to episode 30 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live on a farm with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, June 22nd, 2018. This is a podcast all about my life as a knitter, a crocheter, a hand dyer of yarn, and now a new sewist. I have dabbled into sewing since I last recorded, and I'm super excited about it, so I'm so excited to share about my projects with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts, on Ravelry at noblecharacter, and I also have a group for this podcast on Ravelry under Noble Character Crafts Podcast. In that Ravelry group, you'll be able to find the show notes for this episode and previous episodes, as well as several other chatter threads. You can also get in contact with me through my email, which is noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. I am currently hosting a knit-along, which is called the Brioche Knit-along, and that is running until the end of July. And that is for any project that has brioche in it, whether it be 1 or 2 color brioche. I've worked in the round, worked flat. If the whole thing is brioche, awesome. But even if there's just a small section of brioche in your project, it is certainly eligible to enter into this knit along. So there is a chatter thread and a finished object thread in the Ravelry group, and I would absolutely love it if you would like to join us over there. And also you could certainly tag any of your pictures on Instagram that include your brioche project with brioche knit along, the hashtag brioche knit along. So today I don't have any finished knitting objects, but as I mentioned, I have started doing some sewing this week, and I do have some finished objects in sewing. So I will show those to you in a little bit, but I'll start off with my works in progress in knitting. So my first project is gingerly placed into this beautiful project bag from Tanny Casey. And this is my Hannah's Summer Braid sweater, which is a beautiful design by Amy Self-Lindland, who is also Amy's Little Kingdom. She has a podcast and is Amy's Little Kingdom on Instagram. And I have been pretty much monogamous with this project since I recorded a podcast last. So I have made quite a bit of progress. This is a test knit, by the way. I am test knitting this, so this pattern is not released yet, but she's hoping to release it in July, I believe. So this little progress keeper is marking where I was last time I recorded, and I have been able to finish the body. And I think it looks short, but it fits me really well. I think I have a pretty short torso for my height, I guess. But anyway, it hits at the hip on me. So I'd like to try it on for you, but I said it's gingerly placed in my project bag because I have decided to try to knit the sleeve, which I am now on the first sleeve. I'm trying to use DPNs for the first time on a sleeve. This is the first time I've used DPNs on a sleeve. I don't have a lot of experience using DPNs, but I just wanted to give that a try instead of doing the magic loop. I have only done a few rounds, and I haven't 100% decided if I like it or not. A lot of times the needles on either side of where I'm knitting get in the way and kind of poke me in the hand, and I have to move them around, so that's kind of annoying. But I'm still going to try it for a few more rounds before I decide whether I like it or not. Anyway, I am using ChowGoo DPNs. All of the needles that I use are ChowGoos. These are size 5, US 5. Are they printed on the DPNs? 3.75, I think. Yeah, 3.75 millimeter. The gauge for this project is 22 stitches to 4 inches. And yeah, I'm just absolutely loving this. I am using my own hand-dyed yarn. This is DK weight. This is my Josephine base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and this is on my enriched colorway. here it is in the cake. I did alternate skeins throughout the body of the project. Now that I'm on the sleeve though, I don't think I'm going to alternate skeins, and I hope that doesn't turn out to be a problem. I'm hopeful that it won't be, but I just thought it was going to be too tedious to alternate skeins in the sleeve, so hopefully it won't be a problem. I have used 4 complete skeins for the body. Like, I only had less than 2 grams left of those 4 skeins when I was completed with the body. So it took exactly 4 skeins to complete the body, and now I have just broken into my 5th skein. I do have 1 more skein dyed up and ready to go if I need it, but I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to get both sleeves out of 1 skein, but maybe I'll need to break into that 6th one, I'm not sure. Anyway, this beautiful cable runs down the center and also down the center of the back, and it also runs down either sleeve. So yeah, I'm just really loving this. It is such an enjoyable knit, and I am excited to have this in completed as well, but I'm loving the process. So as the name suggests, this is kind of intended to be more of a summer garment, but I have already made 2 summer garments using cotton yarn, and I think Amy in her original design has used cotton yarn as well, at least a cotton blend, but I decided not to, just because I really think I'll get more use out of it year round if I have it in this, and I'm kind of tired, honestly, of working with cotton, especially for garments. So I decided to go with merino wool nylon blend, and I think I'm really going to be happy with that. I love how this design includes the neckband right from the beginning, so you don't have to go back and pick up those stitches, which I think is such a huge bonus to this pattern. That is such an ingenious thing, and I absolutely love that. And I really like how it's fitting so far. It's just fitting very well. So I'm super excited to continue working on this, and I think I will again try to be monogamous with this knitting project as much as possible so that I can finish it up pretty soon. Okay, the only other work in progress that I have to show you as far as knitting is concerned is in this project bag, which is by My Creative Frenzy on Etsy. And it's super cute, little Red Riding Hood themed. And in here is a little pair of socks that I am knitting up for my youngest child, a boy who is 4 and pretty little for his age. So let's see, I'm a little tangled here. I am just making, boy, I'm really tangled, look at that mess. I'm not gonna try to sort that out right now. Anyway, I am knitting these 2 at a time, as you can plainly see. And last time I recorded, I was right there where that progress keeper is marking. So I haven't done a ton of work on these. These are just what I have been keeping in our van, so whenever we are traveling, I've been knitting on these because they're very mindless. I cast on 48 stitches. I am using size 1 2.25 millimeter needles on my ChowGoo mini twist interchangeable set. I have a gauge of 9 stitches to the inch, and I am just going to be making these into tube socks for my boy. I think I am planning to, so you can see the stripe sequence here, I'm planning to do 1 more stripe sequence, I think, before I make the toe. Well, they're a little off, but on this one I'm going to do 1 more stripe and of course make that one the same length to match. I am using Patton's Croy Socks yarn, and this is on the gray brown marl colorway. And they, the 2 different skeins that I have are not the same dye lot, so I didn't realize that until I was already quite a ways into this project. But you can really tell, I think, with that red stripe that the color is a little off. And actually, the stripes on this sock that has the progress keeper are a little bit longer or wider, I guess. The repeat, you know, if you match this up, see how this one, the repeat is a little bit, it is longer. So anyway, it's okay because they're not matching from the get-go anyway, and so they'll just be a little mismatched pair of socks. I am doing a 3x1 ribbing the whole way until the toe. So I'm hoping that these will be, I've tried them on my boy and they fit him well. I'm hoping that he will be able to get a lot of use out of these. So, and especially as he grows, since I'm just using tube socks, I'm hoping that he'll be able to wear them for a little bit longer than if I had made them with a heel flap or, you know, as a regular sock. So hopefully these will get a lot of use. So that is all of my knitting for this week, which seems strange, but I'm really happy with my progress with my sweater. And of course that's taken up a lot of my knitting time. I have not touched my brioche project that I am submitting for, or my contribution to the brioche knit along. I haven't even touched it this week because I really, really want to get that sweater finished. So that's been my top priority with my knitting. But as I mentioned, I have taken up sewing this week. So I just got, well, actually quite a while ago, I watched the tutorial on YouTube by Gretchen Hirsch, and it is called the Gathered Skirt Making Tutorial, and it was put out by Good Housekeeping, and it's a 2-hour tutorial where she walks you through every single step that you need to make a gathered skirt. And so I had watched that probably close to a year ago, just because I was kind of interested in learning more about how garments are made step by step. I did learn how to sew when I was a little girl. My mom has sewn all my entire life. Since my mom was a teenager, she has sewn. And so she taught me how to sew, but I've just never really been interested in it very much. I've sewn a few things like pillows. I've hemmed some curtains. When I was little, I sewed a dress with my mom. It was just, you know, really simple. I don't even remember what it looked like, but it was just kind of a sack basically. And, but you know, I know the basics about sewing, but I haven't really done a lot of sewing myself. I have a sewing machine, but I've really only used it to mend holes, or like I said, to hem curtains or things like that. So anyway, I don't know what inspired me, but I just decided that I wanted to try to make that gathered skirt along with the tutorial by Gretchen Hirsch. And so I picked up some fabric from Walmart, from their fabric section. And the Walmart that is in our town, we live outside of a small town, and the Walmart that is in our small town is not even a super Walmart. It's just a basic Walmart, so there's not a huge selection. But I was able to find this material that I really liked, and it's just 100% cotton. And so I was able to make this gathered skirt, and it turned out really, really well. It fits me well. And I am just so excited about this. It was so gratifying to make this. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it was just such a wonderful learning experience to go through that tutorial with her. She's just so thorough about every single thing, every step. So this is the first time I have ever put in a zipper. And that was something that really intimidated me, but it turned out very well. So I got the zipper in, and it's really nicely, you know, it can zip really nicely. There's a hook and eye closure here at the top. I'm really happy with the waistband. So you insert, what should you call it? Fusible interfacing into the waistband. So it's got a nice stiff, it's very stiff and holds its shape really well. And I did top stitching along the waistband, which turned out really well. In her tutorial, she instructs you to use dental floss in order to gather up the gathers in the skirt, which was a little tricky because you have to like do a zigzag stitch over the dental floss. So it was really hard for me to keep the dental floss in the middle of that zigzag stitch. But even though I messed up a few times with keeping it inside, it still gathered up the skirt well, I think. So anyway, I'm really, really happy with it. The hem is a rolled hem, I think is what it's called. and that turned out really well as well. So I'm super excited about having this project as my first garment since I've been an adult. So anyway, super excited about this. I will insert a picture here with me wearing it so you can see what it looks like on. My next finished object in sewing is a project bag. So this, I also followed a tutorial on YouTube. This was by, oh shoot, I forget the name. Well, anyway, I'll put it in the down bar, but it's called the Easy Drawstring Bag, I think is what it's called. I'll put it down below so that you can see the exact title and who put it on, who published it. And anyway, it as well was a lot shorter video. I think it's only maybe half an hour long or so, but it is just as thorough, walks you through every single step that you need to make this project. And I'm so happy with this. I just love it. It's so much fun. So my favorite type of project bag are these patchwork project bags, because I just think they're so fun, and I love how the different squares, you know, how you can mix and match all the different colors and patterns and so forth. And so anyway, I found this black material as a remnant at Walmart again. All of the squares I made from 2 different packs of material that I bought, and they came in a package like this, and there were 2 rows, and then I got this one with all of these different prints on it, and then I also got a solid that had all of these solid bright rainbow colors in them. And these are actually these long strips. So I just used these, and for the pattern you make 24 2.5-inch squares, and then you piece them together. And of course she tells you exactly what dimensions you need to make for all of the pieces in a blog post that she has linked with the video. And let's see, so inside is some quilt batting, that I you know, put inside to give it some more structure. And I did a little quilting with just my sewing machine around the squares a little bit. It's not perfect. You can see I've got a missed stitch right there. And my squares don't line up perfectly, but it's okay for my first try. I'm very happy with it for my first try. It is fully lined. The lining also is not perfect. You can see that my stitching here is a little off. I almost missed it right there, but I might have missed like 1 stitch along the edge here where it didn't actually go on the lining. But it's staying, it's not going anywhere. You insert these rope pieces, which is so nice, and there's a handle. I have these leather tags, quite a few of them left over from when I used to sell ready-made crocheted items on my Etsy shop, and I used to attach these to some of my products. So I have tons of these tags, so I thought, oh, I'll just stick one of those tags on there to look professional. I'm not selling this, I'm just going to keep it. Of course, it's not, you know, good enough to sell, probably. It's got too many mistakes, and I want to keep it anyway. But I just thought it'd be fun to put my tag on there. It has a box bottom. And yeah, again, she just walks you through every single step, and I'm so happy with it. I just love it so much, and I'm excited to put it to use. They're so fun. There's so many options of color combos that you could do, and yeah, I'm in the process of making another one, which I will show you in a little bit. I have one more finished object in sewing though to show you, and I'm actually wearing it. So it's not my jacket, but it's my dress. So this is just a practice piece that I tried. So I have I brought it. I have this dress that is store-bought, but I just love it. I wear it a lot. I have a few different dresses that are very similar in shape to this. This is my favorite fitting dress that I have though, but it's just a short dress that I wear every day, this type of garment. And I just wear it over leggings. That's just basically my go-to outfit on an everyday basis. So I wanted to try to replicate this dress. And so I just laid it out on some paper and traced it. And this fabric is has a long life story, I guess. I actually bought this fabric as at a thrift store, and it was a twin bed sheet set. And my boys have used it for several years, but there are a few holes. I have a string there that's not attached. There were a few holes in the bed sheets, and so I wasn't using them anymore, but I had kept it just because I think this fabric is so fun. And it's really, it's got these cowboys roping these cows, and it's just a fun print, and I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. So I had held on to it for a little while and had thought, well, it would be kind of fun to make a garment out of it. And so anyway, I made a dress. So I'll stand up so you can see it. Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. It's a jersey cotton material. And yeah, it turned out really well, I think. Especially for my first, actual dress, again, since I'm an adult. And I'm really happy with it. I just cut out the front piece, back piece, the sleeve caps, and the skirt just by, like I said, tracing around that dress. And this is my first time sewing with a knit fabric. So I was very careful with it not to stretch it so that it would lay nicely, but it really turned out pretty well, I think. I'm really happy with it. So I did, again, just a rolled hem for all of the hems. Yeah, I don't know. It just turned out really well. I am really happy with it. I do have to be a little careful when putting it on because I don't have a serger. And so since it's a stretch fabric, you have to be careful not to pull those stitches. But so far, so good. I did do a zigzag stitch along the waistline because that's what stretches the most. And that seems to be doing well. So, this isn't the fanciest fabric to wear around, and I probably won't wear it out of the house very much, if at all, but it's nice to have around the house, and it's just a fun print that I'm glad that I could reuse. So this, fabric has gone from someone else's bed sheets to our bed sheets for several years, and now it is a dress, and I still have plenty of fabric left over. I could maybe make a dress for my daughter too or something, I don't know, but I have quite a bit of leftover fabric. So anyway, this is my third finished sewing object for this week. So I have been busy at my sewing machine, and I am absolutely loving it. And I just am really excited about making lots of other things. I do have a work in progress for sewing as well. As I mentioned, I am making another easy drawstring project bag. And I have started assembling the pieces. So here are the patchwork squares for this one. I think I did a little bit better job of lining up the squares. Still not perfect, but a little bit better. And here's the second one, same idea. And then the material for the rest of the bag will be this plain tan colored. It's more of a thick, I don't think it's canvas, but it's more of a thick, sturdy cotton, which is also what was in my other project bag. That black material was also a little bit thicker and more sturdy, which I think works well for the base of the bag. So I am going to probably assemble this later on today or tomorrow, but that will be kind of the color scheme, which I think I'm really happy with that color scheme. I think that's really pretty together. And this is actually the fabric from the skirt that I made. And this is a fabric from a dress that I had that tore, and I couldn't really repair it So anyway, this is also so much fun because you can just use the smallest little remnant of fabric that you have saved from another project. So much fun. So I will work on that probably later on today. That is one of the things that is so nice with sewing, is that you can get a project done in such little time. This dress I started it at like maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon on, well, it doesn't matter what day, but a few days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. And even though I, of course made supper and put the kids to bed and everything in between there, but I was able to get it completed before I went to sleep that night. So it's just so gratifying to be able to get a project done from start to finish so quickly. So anyway, I am loving sewing, and I have gotten a few new things to make some more sewing projects. So I went to our local library with my kids this week, and I picked up this dress book, Gertie's Ultimate Dress Book. And it's so exciting that my local library had this. So I have bookmarked a few of the patterns that I would maybe like to try, or if not right away, someday. This is the first one that I think I got material to try to make, and I'm hoping that it's not too difficult. I'm a little bit concerned that it's a little bit cut low in the front there, but I may just have to wear like a camisole underneath it. I would really like to be able to adjust that so that it would be a higher V, but I think that's probably biting off more than I can chew at this point. So I will probably stick to the pattern and just wear a camisole underneath it. While I'm showing you that, I will show you the fabric that I got that I'm planning to use. So I was able to go to Hobby Lobby last night, and I picked up this beautiful fabric. I like how from far away it just looks like a floral, it's very pretty, but then when you get up closer, there's these tiny little bees and beehive. I think that's so cute. I love that. And that's another thing that's so fun about sewing, is that you can just pick your own fabric from hundreds of choices. It's so much fun. This is also just 100% cotton, and it was on clearance, and then also an extra 30% off. So yeah, I love bargain shopping, and I am really excited about that. So again, this is what I'm planning to try, is to make this dress out of this material. We'll see how it goes. But a few of the other dresses that I love in this book are this one. This one is lined, however, so I am not going to tackle that one quite yet, but I do really love it. That's called the Blue Floral Sailor Dress. I love this one so much. She made this one with corduroy. That would be so much fun in a fun fall print or something like that. It's called the Cherry Corduroy Dress. This one is called the Cranberry Wool Dress, and she uses wool, what'd she call it? Boiled wool, which I had never heard of before. But you can also use like a tweed or something like that, which I also think would be super fun for the autumn or winter months. This one is super fun. This is the Polka Dot Day Dress. And the last one that I like in this book is this one here. Very simple but quite elegant, I thought. And it is called the Hot Pink Crepe Dress. So yeah, I'm super excited to, and also the wonderful thing about this book is that it has so many tips. The first half of the book is full of tons of different details about how to make a dress, how you construct it, goes through fabrics and what is recommended for fabrics. It just talks about so many different skills that you need in order to make a dress. It talks about how to fit the garment to your body shape and so forth. So I'm very likely, if I continue enjoying sewing as much as I am right now, I can see myself purchasing a copy of this for myself for sure, because it seems like a really great resource for sewing garments. So I'm very excited about that. And then I also at Hobby Lobby last night picked up a few simplicity patterns. They were only 99 cents, which was a huge bonus. So I got this one, which is $82.94. And I really love this style especially. I picked up $82.59. I love that so much. It looks kind of hard, but it is so cute. I love the detail up here on the bodice, and it has pockets. So exciting. And I think this one is also meant for, well, it does say you can use just cotton. I was thinking that looked a bit like more a thicker fabric. But learning about all of these, yeah, it says you can use tweed. Learning about all of these different fabrics is quite the learning curve, because when I was at Hobby Lobby last night, pretty much everything was cotton. I mean, the majority was just 100% cotton. So I asked one of the ladies working there where you see the different types of cotton, and she said that a lot of these different names of fabric are just different types of cotton, which then I came home and looked through Gertie's dress book, and she kind of goes through, and yeah, a lot of like, there's broadcloth, batik, batiste, there's all these different names of cotton, but pretty much they're all cotton. So I guess a lot of them are. I have a lot to learn. Anyway, the other dress pattern I picked up is number 1459. It's one of the vintage patterns from 1950s. And I really love this one especially. I think that's so fun. And the last one I picked up is number 8384. And this one looks simple, you know, a little more easy. So I think I'm going to try to tackle this one first. I think this is going to be my first project that I work on next. I really, really like the long style, but I also like the cap sleeves. So I'm going to try, my plan is to try to do this B top with the A dress bottom. So that's my plan, and I did pick up some fabric for that as well. And it was a little bit, I kept putting it down and coming back to it because from far away, it's again one of those that doesn't look, you know, it just looks really nice from far away, but up close, it has unicorns and bunnies and birds. And so I really like it. I really like it. But I kept thinking, oh, that's too juvenile looking for a grown woman to wear. But I think I'll like it, especially, you know, in a dress that is very grown up looking as well. You know, it's not a short dress, it's a longer dress. So I think the contrast of having the grown up style on a grown up, but having a fun print is, I'm hoping it will be a good balance. So this took, you know, the long skirt, it took a lot of yardage. I actually cleaned out the bolt of fabric. It was just enough for what I needed. It calls for 5 1/2, I think. 5 3/8 yards. And they had 5 5/8 on the bolt. So I just said, I'll take it all. But this was also on clearance. So that was awesome to be able to pick that up. So yeah, I'm so excited to get some more sewing projects started. So I have a few knitting related new things that I want to share with you as well. I picked up some new stitch markers from an Etsy shop called Creating with Sticks. And she has these, they're so adorable, these little tins. And there's several different designs that you can get on the tins. This one is a black sheep and it says, "Have you any wool?" Which, of course, I love that nursery rhyme. And it slides open, so cute. And inside are these beautiful copper stitch markers. And I absolutely love these. They are so thin. There is no catch on them at all. You know, as you're knitting, I'm getting pretty particular about what stitch markers I like, and this is the perfect solution for my taste. So it is, you know, just very simple, and it doesn't bother me as I'm knitting. It doesn't get in the way. I find that like the light bulb type stitch markers, I'm always having to flip them around because they're poking me, and I just don't like them. So anyway, I really like these, and they're so adorable in this little tin. So that's so fun. And she did include some of those light bulb stitch markers, which I do use, especially to like mark my rows when I'm decreasing, or when I'm making a sock. Sometimes I'll mark them, you know, mark where I'm going to put the heel in, for example, or especially like on sleeves when I'm making decreases on a sleeve, I will mark my decreases. But she just included these cute little light bulb stitch markers as well as just an extra little gift. So that was super sweet of her. So thank you so much, Leah. And then I also made an order through Knit Picks, and they were having a sale on some of their bear wool that I have had my eye on for a while because I really thought it looked nice and I wanted to try it. And this is called Knit Picks Simply Wool, and I got this in the colorway Wilbur. And this is their bulky weight, which I don't have a bulky weight. Actually, I don't have any bulky weight in my stash, and I don't sell bulky weight in my Etsy shop. So, and there are a few patterns that I have saved in Ravelry that I have wanted to make using bulky weight. And so I picked up a sweater's quantity of this yarn, and I'm super excited to try it. It is 100% eco wool, bulky weight, 193 yards for 100 grams. So I really love that color. It's, you know, kind of a brownish gray, tan. It's really beautiful, I think. It's got quite a bit of depth of color to it, even though it's such a neutral. So I'm excited to work with this. I don't know when, but hopefully before winter I can make a garment with this. We'll see. And they also were having a sale on their books, and I saw this, I think I saw this book shown off on the Truly Myrtle podcast, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorites. And she, I believe, was the one that I saw talk about this book. It's called Plain and Simple, and it is by Pam Allen. It includes 11 designs, and all of them use worsted weight. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is that all of the garments are worked from the bottom up. I prefer to have top down. They are worked seamlessly, I think, for the most part, but they are worked from the bottom up. And I just don't think it's quite as easy to make sure you get the right fit with bottom up sweaters. But also the majority of the designs in this book are oversized. And so the fit isn't quite as, you know, it's not as detrimental if you make it a little too big or a little too small, because they're already oversized. So the fit isn't quite as pertinent. But my favorite, I really like pretty much everything in here, but my favorite one is Larch. That's really pulling out. There we go. So I love the look of this, I don't know, what do you call it? A tunic, really oversized sweater. It's almost like, you know, it could be worn as outerwear almost, but I really, really like it. And I actually have some yarn in my stash that I could use up for that. But this is a beautiful book. I absolutely love it. All of the patterns in here are just beautiful. Here's one called Walnut. I love that one. It's such a nice book. I love this birch sweater. Beautiful. I really, really want to make a colorwork sweater. I haven't made a colorwork sweater yet, and I'm itching to make one. So anyway, this is just a beautiful book that I highly recommend. It has several designs in it that I love, so I was excited to pick up a copy of that. All right, so those are all of my new things that I have purchased. And I do have a new square to share with you for the 2018 collaboration Afghan. I am down to the last few squares that I am waiting on, and I'm so excited to see the last few come in. This beautiful square is from Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. She also does a podcast with her mom, which is called The Girls in the Yarn Cafe. And this is just stunning. I love the baubles on it. Tristan and her mom have both recently made the Irwin sweater by Isabel Kramer, which has these baubles. And then Tristan also just designed a new hat that includes these baubles as well. I've never done any knitting with baubles yet, so I would really like to try to make her hat design, and I'm just really loving this. So beautiful. This is on her tarot colorway, and here are her new business cards that she recently got. So super excited to have received this square from her. Thank you so much, Tristan. And she was super generous and sent this. I only ask for a yard of yarn so that I can stitch the squares together in, a coordinating yarn, and she sent, this is like a 50-gram skein or cake of yarn, and she was so generous to send that along. So it's the same colorway, and she just said that she wanted to let me use her yarn and play around with it, and I certainly will, and I'm going to love it. This colorway is just stunning. I love it so much. So thank you so much, Tristan. That is so incredibly sweet of you. This is on her Lore base, which is fingering weight, 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. So thank you again, Tristan. I really appreciate you sending me the square and the yarn. Thank you so much. All right, the last thing I have to share with you is my shawl set. So every time I record a podcast, I try to show at least a set of 3 skeins that I think coordinate well, that would work for a shawl or any type of project that needs 3 different colors of yarn. In my Etsy shop, I sell my hand-dyed yarn, and I have several different colorways that are always available on all 9 of my bases. And so instead of sharing updates with what I have been dyeing each week, I just share 3 different colorways that I think would work well together. So here's my pick for this week. I thought that these, it kind of reminds me of like a retro themed color combination for some reason. The solid black is my night colorway. The light gray semi-solid is my choice silver colorway. And this one I don't believe I've shown before on the podcast, so this is my precious colorway. So it is both, it has some bare yarn and then a light pink, it's a bright pink, but it's very light. And then it is speckled with black, and the black breaks into orange and even some little blue in there, which I just love when the dye breaks into several different colors that are unexpected and random. So anyway, that is my choice for this episode. I thought those looked nice together. So that's all I have to share with you this week. We have had a wonderful week, tons and tons of rain, which we are so grateful for. My husband farms corn and soybeans, and the ground was super dry. He had large cracks in the ground in his fields, and so we were in dire need of rain, and it has pretty much rained every day, I think, for nearly a week, which we are just so grateful for. There's been lots of wonderful thunderstorms, which I love so much. My children don't love them so much, but I love them. So we've had a few, nights when the kids sleep in our room on the floor or out on the couch or something like that, because that just helps them not to be quite so scared, which is fine, of course. Anyway, other than that, we've been doing very well. No real other news. I'm getting a little a little stir crazy, having been stuck in the house more than usual since it has rained so much. But again, I'm very, very grateful for the rain, so I can't complain. Other than that, I've just been so interested in my crafts and trying new things, and it's been very exciting. And so we're doing very well, and I am so grateful for you joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you would be willing to give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate that so much, and I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel as well. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thanks again so much for joining me. Bye-bye.